Okay, hello. So, you probably noticed doing something a little different this time. Because of the fact that I have been gone for this unit, I want to make sure that you're able to get some feedback through something like a quiz, but I'm not even there to give you feedback either. So, I'm making a video. So, we're looking for the volume of these shapes. As I mentioned in my notes, you want to make sure you know what shape it is. This is a triangular prism because it's got two triangular sides that are parallel and congruent there and there. So that means that the base area is 1/2 base of triangle times height of triangle. And being a prism, that means volume is base area times height. So focusing in on that triangle. This is 9, this is 9, this is 9, and this right here is 7.8. So base area, half of a base times height, because triangle area, that's what it is. Well, the base of the triangle is this 9. And the height of the triangle is this 7.8. So that means base area 1/2 times 9 times 7.8 is 35.1. Now, for the height of the prism always has to go perpendicular to the bases, and it connects them for a prism. So this is my prism height. So that's my H. So volume equals 35.1 times 12. Volume is therefore 421.2 centimeters cubed. Do not forget units. Okay, next shape, rectangular prism. Now this is an oblique rectangular prism, which means I'm going to be a little bit pickier about my base, because here is my perpendicular that goes from base to base, which means I'm going to make this big rectangle, which is a rectangle. It looks like a parallelogram in the picture because of the angle we're looking at, but that rectangle is going to be my base. On that rectangle, I know that's 17, I know that's 18. Yes, I know I don't have this to scale. I don't care. So, rectangle has a base area formula of base times height. Prism, volume, capital base times the other height, which is not the same height. Since this is a right angle, my base and my height are my 17 and my 18 for this rectangle. So 17 times 18, was it about 300? 306. So volume is that 306 getting multiplied. Now the height of the prism needs to go perpendicular to the bases. Remember me pointing out the right angle earlier? That's because that needs to be the height. The 5 is there to throw you off. This is nothing. So 306 times 4 is 1,224. And it's volume, so centimeters cubed. Okay, next one. This is a rectangular pyramid. Having a rectangular base means base area is base times height. Being a pyramid means the volume is 1/3 base times height. So, base was that rectangle. That was 25. That was right. That was 12.5. So 25 times 12.5, because those are perpendicular. I get 312.5. That is my base area. Oops, I forgot the height in the formula. Volume equals 1/3 times base area times height. Now make sure that height is perpendicular to the base still. I have to have this right angle. So this is my height. 1/3 is 1 divided by 3 in a calculator times 312.5 times 23. Volume equals 2395.8. Technically, it's 3 repeating, but rounded to the nearest hundredth, we stop at 0.3, and it's centimeters cubed. My next problem is also a pyramid, but this one is a triangular pyramid. Being a triangular base, that means the base area is 1/2 base times height, lowercase base. And being a pyramid means my volume is 1/3 capital base times height. Be careful. One of the most common mistakes I see is people mixing up 1/2 versus 1/3. 1/2. 1/2 goes in area formulas generally. 1/3 go in volume formulas. So, my base is this triangle. On that triangle, I've got a right angle, I've got a 6, I've got an 8, I've got a 10. The perpendicular is here. Base and height are always perpendicular, so base area is 1/2 times the 8 and the 6. Doesn't matter which one goes first when multiplying. 1/2 times 8 times 6 is 24. Perpendicular to my base is my height, so volume equals 1/3 times the 24 times the 9, which I believe is 72. It is. Kilometers, and it's a volume, so it's cubed. Now I have a cone. Cone, thankfully, has fewer things to worry about. Volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. This is my radius because it goes from center to edge of the circle, and this is perpendicular to that circle. Therefore, that is the height. Volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared times the height. Now, some of y'all might find that your calculators are fancy and it does the exact answer, but you don't need the exact answer. Many calculators will not. Volume, when I type all of that into my calculator, is 1077.57 centimeters cubed. If you do the exact, it would be 343 pi centimeters cubed, but you don't need both answers. Okay, last one on the front page is a cylinder. Cylinder volume is pi r squared h. I'm given a diameter right here. Diameter is 2 radii, so 4 is 2 times the radius, therefore the radius is 2. This goes up the edge of the cylinder, and it appears to be a right cylinder, so yes, that is the height. Volume equals pi times 2 squared times 8.5. This one, if you did the exact answer, you would have gotten 34 pi meters cubed. But again, you don't have to do the exact. I don't expect you to. The non-exact is 106.81 meters cubed. Last page does the missing dimension and similar figures. To look at a missing dimension, you have to look at what is the shape, what is the formula I use, given the information I know about that shape, and then just plug things in and work backwards. This is a triangular prism. I know that because I see two triangles, opposite sides, parallel and congruent. Those are my bases. So, to do these ones, I start this process the same way. I think about what my formulas are, and I calculate what I can. In this case, this is 10, this is x, this is 8. My base area is 1/2. The perpendicular is here, connecting the x and the 8, which means it's 1/2 and the 8 and the x are getting multiplied. I can't actually get that as a number, but I can simplify it to 4x. Now the height, which goes from base to base, is right here on my shape, so that's my height. So, I plug in what I know. I know the volume, which is 60, equals, because this is my formula I'm using now, which says volume equals base area times height. My base area, the best I've got, is 4x, times the height is 10. 60 equals 40x. Divide by 40. X equals, is it 1.5? Which in hindsight is wrong. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you're solving this the way you should, that should be what you got. But in hindsight, I screwed up when creating this problem, didn't pay attention to the fact that I've got a right triangle right here, and I could have done Pythagorean theorem. And had I just done Pythagorean theorem, I believe that would have been 6. Yeah. Had you done it that way, you would have gotten 6. I will double check on my future problems that does not show up. Because you shouldn't be able to work backwards like that. Like, great, fine, dandy. If you did it that way, that's fine. It's 6 kilometers. I just didn't catch it when I was making the quiz. Okay, let's keep moving forward. The other ones should not have the same issue. It's only ones that involve right triangles that become a problem. Okay, next shape. Cylinder. I'm given the volume, so volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. I know the volume is 360 pi. I know the radius is x, so I put in x, and the height is 10. I work backwards to solve for x now. I divide by the pi's. Thankfully, they cancel out. 360 equals x squared times 10. Undo the times by dividing. 36 equals x squared. To get rid of a squared, I take the square root. It does not make sense to have both a positive and a negative version, so I just go with 6, and it's in inches. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm just going to see if I can change this real quick. I want this to stand out a little bit. There we go. Okay. 2 more problems. Next one, rectangular pyramid. Having a rectangular base means base area is base times height. Being a pyramid means volume equals 1/3 base times height. Okay, I focus in on the base first. Base is this square, actually, because that's x and that's x. Which means base area, well, their perpendicular is x times x. My base area at best is x squared. My height, which has to be perpendicular and is 4. Just like on others, I plug in what I know. 48 equals 1/3 times the base area of x squared times the height of 4. Now I can simplify the right side first if I want, or I can just say to get rid of divide by 3, I multiply by 3. I find that easier to do. 144, and technically I'm multiplying by the reciprocal here. It's 3 over 1, does the same thing. That goes away. I'm left with 4x squared. Make sure you're dividing by the 4. You got to get the x squared alone before you go start taking any square roots. 144 divided by 4 is 36. Square root, and x is 6 centimeters. My goodness. So many 6s. Anyway. Final problem. The following are similar solids. Find the missing volume. Now, remember, this is much like finding similar area or similar perimeter. You've got a fraction equal to a fraction. But in volume, since the volume's unit is cubed, the side length ratio has to be cubed. Now, in this case, it's not actually a side length ratio. It's a dimension, and the dimension is the height. I've got the 70 and 49 in each of these. It doesn't matter which one goes on top. Just be consistent with the other side of the fraction. These two come from the same shape, so I put the 882 on the bottom. X goes on top. To cube a fraction, I cube the top and I cube the bottom. To cube, I've got the power button, or I just multiply by itself 3 times if I really want. But if you aren't 100% sure, because this looking button, this up arrow is a power button. Some calculators have their power button looks like this, and you click that. Some power buttons look like this. Any of those should get to a power of 3. If you're not sure how to do it on your calculator, lean on your classmates. They know things. 49 to the power of 3. These numbers get really, really big, really, really quick. But then when we cross multiply, that's not so bad. Because we end up dividing. 3, 0, 2, 5, 2, 6, 0, 0, 0. Divide by 11, 7, 6, 4, 9. It's not pretty, but I get 2,571.43, and it's a volume, and the unit is feet, so feet cubed.